and wanting to do his show. But that is not the problem. It's after when he leaves the office, he goes, and the things he said are contrary to what he said. For instance, usually your last trick is that you want the OSP board to rather be the ones doing this interview, when you know perfectly that there's no OSP board presently. So you can see from the pattern that this is a person who is just bent on denigrating the office, bringing the reputation of the SP to disrepute and all that. Then last minute he comes to the office and he extends all these things to officers who are lawfully performing their duties. So if you go to Ghana Police, if you go to NIB, and the officers in charge, men in uniform with guns, directing you to do something, and even if you won't do it for the sake of the profession, but you don't do that, you rather hurl insults at them and display an unruly behavior towards the men. If not that these men have been well trained to hold themselves up and to ensure that they do not ever allow any person to have a cause to say the person has been assaulted or done anything. It should have been a different thing altogether. But I want to congratulate these officers for holding themselves and still insisting that he goes through the right procedure and processes. And when you do that in any law enforcement agency, you'll be placed under arrest. So we have to separate his arrest from the fact-finding work that he has refused to cooperate with the OSP. That is different from what happened yesterday. What happened yesterday is because he had obstructed officers from performing their lawful duty. Men in uniform, he did that. And I'm saying that if you do that in any law enforcement agency, he'll be placed under arrest.
Okay.
Even when somebody comes to Joy of Matthew Founders and start hurling insult at your security man and misbehaving or really behavior, if you have a security man who is well trained, they'll place the person under arrest and hand him over to the authority, because Joy won't have the power of, say, police. So if you're asking me, this is the whole idea. But again, because of this coordinated attacks, wanting to bring the office into disrepute, because the office has been biting and biting hard. But let me tell you something. Anytime you find, we know corruption fights back, but anytime you find consistent, coordinated attacks on an office like the OSP, it is not the office that they are attacking. It is the people of Ghana they are attacking, because we are in the midst of many investigations, seizing millions of assets, asking people who have taken so much money from the Republic to return it. And it's biting hard. And we don't think that such people will not put up a fight. And so the bad guys are the happy ones now. And I'm sure they are so happy that, well, the office that is supposed to be putting me on trial, the office that is investigating me, is in itself under serious attacks. And that is all that they wanted to achieve. But the office remains very focused. As we speak, the office is prosecuting high-profile persons, about 33 people standing trial. The office is working together with the Attorney General on extradition of Kenofuniata and Ernest Akori from the United States. So, in terms of the work of the office is doing it. But at the same time, the office too want to take the opportunity to carry Ghanaians along and clarify some of these misunderstandings, misconceptions, and then deliberate lies just to bring the office into disrepute.
Okay. Now, when we spoke to him this morning, he said that when he got there, the officers, the military personnel, one called him stupid. In fact, another said, I will show you those things you've been doing. And so it was not a case of he going there and picking a fight with them. It was because of what they had said. And so it cannot be said that Martin Kpebu, got in there and started misbehaving.
If you ask me, I'll place very little value on what Martin Kpebu says, because consistently he has shown that he will not put out accurate information. Let me give you an example. He was on Joy platforms and told Joy that there were 16 petitions to remove the SP. He He didn't say that somebody told him. That's why he's saying it. When he was put under cross-examination by KSM on his show, he then said that he heard someone say it on news file. That is why he also said that, and that he was going to add his to make it 17. If you know you're going to add yours to make it 17, why don't you put together your evidence and then you present it, than going around every platform and spewing allegations that you have no evidence to, just to denigrate the SP. So I'm saying, if you ask me a voice account, I won't, because I've seen the variations, and there are a few things that with time we will explain it and let Ghanaians know about it.
Sammy,
the soldiers and the police at the OSP are very professional. Do you know how many people come to the office in a day? And yet, you've never heard anybody say that these officers have been rude to them or these officers have misbehaved. The only person that has brought this up is Martin Kpebu. I'll give you a second scenario. When he visited officers on the second time in our office, he came back and told the media that when he went to the office, they asked him how many lawyers he was coming with. And that again was a palpable lie.